All right, so today we're going to roll up our sleeves and tackle those annoying spam bookings, the ones clogging up your calendar, especially if you're using online booking systems. We asked you guys for some sources, and you delivered articles, even a YouTube video all about fighting back against this stuff.
And good thing, too, because this isn't just about a little digital clutter, right? We're talking about a real threat here.
Huh.
This impacts data, team morale, even your profits.
Yeah, one article even called it a growing problem, and that got me thinking, like, what makes these fake demo bookings such a pain? I mean, it's more than just a couple spam emails in your inbox, isn't it?
Way more. Just imagine.
Mm.
Your sales team is all fired up, ready to connect with leads, and then bam, meeting after meeting turns out to be a dead end, just bots. Talk about soul crushing. It's like you signed up for a marathon, trained for weeks, only to find out you're stuck on a treadmill.
Oof. Yeah, I can see how that would be a punch to the gut, not to mention the lost productivity. And then there's that whole thing about the data, right? Like the article mentioned how these fake bookings totally mess with your analytics.
Absolutely. Think about it. You're making big decisions based on this data, and if that data is polluted, it's like you're flying blind. Your marketing campaigns, your budget, even knowing when your busy times are, all of it gets thrown out of whack.
Okay, building your whole strategy on a foundation of bad data. That's scary. And then the article mentions something even worse, something about missed opportunities. How do these fake bookings actually make you miss real deals?
It's that old saying, right? Opportunity cost. While your team's busy fighting off the bots, a real lead, someone who could be huge for you, might just slip right through. It's like being so focused on swatting flies that you totally miss the butterfly that flies by.
All right, you officially scared me. Enough doom and gloom. Let's talk solutions. What can we actually do about this?
Well, the good news is you can fight back, and luckily you've got some great resources to learn from.
Hmm.
Calendesk, for example, since they're all about booking systems, they've got a whole bunch of interesting solutions.
All right, hit me with it. First line of defense.
One thing that works is just setting some limits, like having a bouncer for your calendar. You can put the kibosh on bookings from shady-looking email addresses or even IP addresses.
So if the same email tries to book a zillion demos, that's a red flag.
Bingo. It's simple, but it's surprisingly effective. And any legit person won't mind a little email verification, which, by the way, is something Calendesk really pushes.
Makes sense. Adds a layer of, like, are you really who you say you are? But what about the pros, those spammers who manage to get past all that?
Now we're getting to the fun stuff. Calendesk actually uses this AI-powered spam detection. It's like having your own digital detective constantly working the case. It's looking for patterns, learning from every spam attack, and it can flag something fishy before it even hits your calendar.
So it's like it's evolving, always one step ahead of the spammers.
You got it. And it gets even better. They also suggest using these custom error messages. It's kind of like a mind game.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. How does that work?
So instead of some generic error, imagine a spammer gets hit with a message like, please verify your info. Totally throws them off. But your real users, they don't even blink.
It's like that whole thing using their own moves against them.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Surprisingly effective, too. And believe me, we're just scratching the surface when it comes to what Calendesk has cooked up for fighting spam.
Okay, you can't just leave me hanging like that. What other tricks does Calendesk have up their sleeve?
Well, keywords are huge. Think about it. Spammers, they tend to use the same language over and over, like those weird names or those super salesy phrases. Calendesk lets you filter that stuff out.
So if it sees something like, I don't know, Demaster123 trying to book, it's like, nope, not today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or say you start noticing a bunch of bookings coming from, like, a country you don't even do business in. Calendesk lets you block whole regions or even specific email domains that are known for spam. It's like putting your calendar on lockdown.
Love it. Total digital border control.
Yeah.
And speaking of next level, that YouTube video you mentioned, something about Zapier. How does that even fit into all of this?
So Zapier, it's all about connecting different apps and automating tasks, right? So picture this. A spam booking, it manages to sneak past your first line of defense.
Yeah.
But with Zapier hooked up to your Calendesk, that booking gets analyzed like it's under a microscope. It can check if the email's on any spam lists, if the booking was made at some crazy hour, you name it.
So it's like having a super-powered assistant working 24/7, making sure nothing sketchy gets on your calendar.
Exactly. And the best part is, it's all automatic.
Mhm.
You can finally focus on what matters. Talking to real people, growing your business.
This is all amazing, super helpful, but what about those of us who aren't using Calendesk? Any advice for the rest of us, or are we out of luck?
Not at all. A lot of what Calendesk talks about, it's universal, you know? It doesn't matter if you're using Calendly, another platform, even if you're still doing things manually. The biggest thing is to pay attention.
Be proactive, watch for those red flags.
Exactly. Do you see the same weird email addresses popping up? Generic names over and over, bookings at odd hours.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to dig a little deeper. Ask for more info if something seems off. And honestly, a well-written error message, it can work wonders.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? Or in this case, a little spam prevention saves you tons of time and headaches down the road.
100%. And
Nice.
don't forget, you're not alone in this. A lot of scheduling platforms, even the basic ones, they've got some built-in spam protection. Dig into those settings, see what you can customize.
And hey, if all else fails, call in the big guns. Talk to your IT team, maybe a cybersecurity expert.
Definitely. At the end of the day, you have the power to take back your calendar.
Yeah.
You can protect your business from these annoying, costly intrusions.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it, how much of an impact something like spam bookings can have on a business. It seems so small at first.
Right. It just shows how important it is to pay attention to the details, even the stuff that seems kind of insignificant. We're always worried about those big, scary cyber attacks, but sometimes it's those little things, the little annoyances that let the spammers in and cause all kinds of chaos.
So true. And what I find really interesting about the things we've talked about today, those solutions,
Yeah.
it's not just about blocking stuff, it's about making things better for everybody. I mean, real people can book easily, your sales team can actually talk to real leads, and your data's accurate.
Exactly. You're in control, things are running smoothly, and at the end of the day, you're more productive and successful.
Oh,
Isn't that the goal?
big time. All right, for all those listeners out there, anyone who's dealing with this spam booking nightmare right now, what's your number 1 piece of advice?
Don't be afraid to get creative.
Yeah.
The stuff we've talked about today, it's a great starting point. But every business is different, right? So find what works for you, what fits your setup, your needs. A little ingenuity can go a long way when it comes to outsmarting these spammers.
Love it. And hey, you might even have some fun with it. Who knows? Maybe those custom error messages could be your new creative outlet, like writing haikus or something.
Why not?
That's what I'm talking about. So there you have it. You've heard the advice. Now it's time to take action. We want to hear from you, listeners. What's your most creative idea for fighting back against those spam appointments? Share your thoughts. Let's help each other out. Let's create a spam-free future, one booking at a time.